Hi, I'm Sally Quinn, and this is Jacques Berlinerblau. Welcome to the God Vote. This week in Iowa, social issues were very much on the minds of Republican hopefuls. And here is what Michelle Bachmann had to say.
We've been told that we need a truce on social issues, and I would highly disagree with that, because the truth is social conservatism is fiscal conservatism.
So Jacques, do you think the 2012 election is going to be about social issues, or is it going to be about fiscal issues?
Well, I think the genius of this strategy is to link the issues. I think the Tea Party has got the rhetoric about the economic issues, and the Christian right has the rhetoric about the social issues, but they're actually sort of amalgamated. So for example, the House of Representatives recently completely defunded Planned Parenthood. So that's a pretty effective way of linking an economic agenda to a socially conservative agenda.
Although the polls show that people really care about the economy. Remember James Carville, "Is the economy stupid?" And it seems to me that when the social conservatives lock themselves into that position, that they are really turning off an awful lot of voters who might necessarily be on their side. So polls show that Mike Huckabee is leading nationally in Iowa and among likely Republican voters in the country. What's your take on him?
Well, Mike Huckabee is always the wild card, right? In 2007, he announced early and nobody heard about him, nobody paid any attention to him. Then all of a sudden, boom, in the fall of 2007, it's like a Mike Huckabee supernova. He wins Iowa, he crashes Mitt Romney's party, he appeals directly to Christian conservatives, gets 34% of the vote. In Iowa. This time around, Sally, if he does enter, as much as we find him to be a very kind of pleasant and likable person, there are a lot of people that want to crash that party as well. There's Michelle Bachmann, there's Sarah Palin, there's Tim Pawlenty, there's Newt Gingrich on the Catholic side. So there's a lot of conservative Christian energy that Mike Huckabee is going to have to contend with. Now, you actually like Mike Huckabee,
Well,
no?
I do like Mike. And you know, here's the thing. He was very popular among the journalists, don't forget that. The media really loved him, and I think that's one of the reasons he did so well. This time around, I'm not so sure. Everybody is sort of disappointed in the fact that he has gone so far right, and when he says things like Islam is the antithesis of the gospel of Christ, he's losing a lot of people. So I wonder, I'm not sure he's going to go as far as he went the last time. Now, at a mega church in Texas, Newt Gingrich said, and I quote, "I am convinced that if we do not decisively win the struggle over the nature of America, by the time my grandchildren are my age, they will be in a secular, atheist country, potentially one dominated by radical Islamists, and with no understanding of what it once meant to be an American." What do you think about that?
I think he's speaking of France. Sounds more like France in the United States. This is a kind of language that conservative Christians speak around midterm elections and general elections. It's a way of dog whistling, but it's more like bullhorning with a dog whistle, right? To conservative Christian voters. And the way you do it is you claim that a kind of Islamic theocracy is afoot in the United States, and then you pound the atheists for good measure. I find this to be extremely unhelpful. I find it to be un-American, Sally. Do you find it to be un-American?
Well, I do find it to be un-American. When he says things like this, it is such a turnoff to so many people, and it seems like he's pandering to a very small group of people. When he talks about secular atheist country, radical Islamists, you say dog whistling, and but it really is bullhorning. He's not being subtle about this at all. He is really going for the fear factor, and I just think that's a dangerous place to go. So we hear a lot of this Islamophobic rhetoric these days. Now, why do you think this is happening now? What's this about?
Well, the only thing I can think of, Sally, is in 2007, John McCain was asked would he be comfortable with a Muslim as president. He said, no, quite frankly, no, even though he respected the Islam. And in 2012, are we going to hear that Muslims are not suitable to serve espressos in the naval mess of the West Wing? I mean, where is it going to stop? Once again, this type of rhetoric has some type of appeal, apparently, to conservative Christian voters. And I think it's incumbent upon the conservative Christian voters to say, we're just not into it. Move on. Jesus was better than that. That sort of thing.
That's it for the God Vote today. Please join us next week with Jacques Berlinerblau for another interesting conversation about religion and politics.